Okay, so I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. It's not super late, but kind of late. Um, Face reveal, by the way, for all of you fans, I guess, I don't know. I had a fucking brainwave, because I saw, like, that, like, it's like a Reddit, like, chart thing, whatever the fuck it is. It's like, it, like, categorizes all of the major Kirby lore relationships, so I was like, I want to know how much Kirby lore, in the broader sense, so to say, I remember off of my memory. So, let's, do whatever that is. So, yeah, I got my, like, tablet here, my funky drawing thing, you know? Big art. I have a couple key notes written down here for, consistency's sake, so I don't go fucking crazy when I'm trying to explain any of this. And none of it makes any sense, just to be clear. There is no clarity, stuff constantly changes, and there's no consistency in a lot of Kirby lore. But, I think a lot of people are interested to know that there is lore in Kirby in the first place, and that it's a lot weirder than people would anticipate for a franchise about a little pink ball thing. But yeah, let's go. Let's start off with the Ancients and the Aeon Hero. So, basically, long before Kirby was born, and, like, long before basically anything was happening, before any of the major characters were born, there were the Ancients, and the Ancients were, like, a group of people who were extremely technologically advanced. They basically had, like, perfected basically everything. They've created, like, massive machines. They're basically, like, anything that's, like, old, ancient, and, like, artificial is probably made by the Ancients. Now, before the Ancients were wiped out, there was a thing that happened with Void Termina, and Void Termina is, like, he's the main boss of, Kirby Star Allies, and basically, from my understanding, Void Termina is, like, the creator of everything, so, like, basically just God. Creator of everything, can be influenced by both negativity and positivity. So the first time they're like, we need to stop Void Termina because it's going crazy right now. And so the way that they do that is like, let's get four really powerful heroes to take down this motherfucker. And so, we don't know any of those heroes except for one, and that one hero we know is the Aeon Hero, aka Galactonite, and Galactonite will become important relatively later on. But, once they defeated, Void Termina and he went back into hiding or whatever, they were like, oh, this guy's too powerful, we need to seal him away. So they seal away all of the heroes, including Galactonite, and they're sealed away for, like, thousands of years, basically. Involved in all this, with all of the stuff involving Void Termina, there's Dark Matter and Zero, and basically, Zero's another direct result of Void Termina. Influenced by negativity, of course, I think. I don't know, a lot of this stuff is weird, it's bound to change eventually, and it's all speculative, but whatever. But yeah, Zero is born, Zero creates Dark Matter, and Dark Matter is a bunch of, like, just, like, clones that do Dark Matter's bidding. They're all, basically, part of the Hive Mind, except for one. The one that escaped the Hive Mind is Gooey, and Gooey is just, like, a little fucking thing, and he escaped the clutches of Dark Matter and became his own person, and all he does is just eat shit, you know? Doesn't really do much. But, after all, like, Zero and whatever, he's basically just going around the galaxy wrecking shit, possesses people, like, takes over planets and envelops them in darkness, sort of thing. So, Dark Matter's doing fine, doing all this, you know, like, no problems, maybe a few bumps along the way, but nothing they can get through. So, in comes Kirby, and Kirby, we'll talk about Kirby's origins later, but Kirby's just a little dude. He's virtually a child, or consistently has been a child. In the anime, he's explicitly a baby, but, in the games, it's kind of unclear now, so it's more or less that he's just really, really young, is not at his full potential. So he, is consistently able to take down Dark Matter and Zero a couple times, and, they're just like, whoa, fuck, what are we gonna do now? So, all that happens with Zero and all those other bitches, there, Zero gets defeated the first time by Kirby after possessing a bunch of other fuckers. And then, Kirby, not Kirby, Zero comes back later. Zero's like, 02 now, I think. I don't know, it's fucking weird, all this shit that happens. But, 02 gets defeated again, and then basically Zero is out of the picture for a while. I don't know if Zero's, like, explicitly dead, but Zero's just gone for now. Talking about some of the other major characters, the two major rivals to Kirby, or two just major characters surrounding Kirby, are King Dedede and Meta Knight. And King Dedede is a rival to Kirby. In the first Kirby game is the only time he's done anything explicitly evil. Never really did anything else besides, like, just causing a bit of a ruckus for people. He stole food for everybody in the first game, and then was, like, just, like, Kirby was like, no, don't do that, give all the food back, and everything was fine. Then Dedede's like, Dedede just reforms, I guess. He's not really evil anymore. It's like, I learned the error of my ways, but he's still a rival to Kirby, which is relatively important. So, he has this, like, long-standing grudge with Kirby. Not necessarily, like, a negative kind of grudge, but just, like, he will help Kirby if necessary, but, also, he feels like he has a need to prove to Kirby that he's, like, powerful in the sense. So, like, he will often challenge Kirby, specifically in Revenge of the King is when it's the most obvious, because Revenge of the King, I think it's kind of unclear what events that takes place during, but in Revenge of the King, Dedede challenges Kirby, and that's supposed to be the end of their grudge, their fucking blood feud or whatever, I don't know. Meta Knight is a bit more complicated, because, okay, so Meta Knight, his motives are a little bit, sparse, like, very particular depending on the game. There's no real, like, cohesive thing for what he's trying to do. But, his main thing is that he's, like, he wants to, like, he wants to be powerful, he wants to, like, prove his strength to some level. And he also is, he's definitely honorable, not even somewhat, but, like, he wants to, like, keep things going however the fuck. The only exception, he's never really an antagonist. The only exception to him, ever doing anything antagonistic is, in Revenge of Meta Knight, and in Revenge of Meta Knight, he, like, he wants to take over Dreamland to stop its peaceful lifestyle. In the anime, Meta Knight's a bit more explicitly a mentor to Kirby, and, it's heavily implied that him and Kirby are the same species, and, in the anime, the depictions are relatively uncanon. We'll talk about the anime later, but, in general, he's, like, a protector to Kirby to some level. He mentors Kirby, he does a lot of things for the sake of, supporting Kirby, like, in the pursuit of power at some level, and also he challenges Kirby regularly because he wants to test his own strength. So, yeah, moving on from them, we'll get back to Dedede and Meta Knight at some point, probably. I don't know, this is not scripted, this is just me going off. Let's go to talk about Marx and Haltman. So, Marx and Haltman are important because, Marx and Haltman both bring back an OS, and the OS the original OS is Nova, but Star Dream is, like a reproduction of Nova, and it's another machine by the Ancients, so, like, yeah, basically any major machine in Kirby is from the Ancients, except for Lore Starcutter, which is explicitly not, I believe, but, like, basically Nova can grant any wish, and so can Star Dream. Star Dream is, like, a bit, Star Dream it doesn't work as well, I guess. I don't even know how to explain it. But, Nova does, in Milky Way wishes, Marx wishes to become the like, ruler of Popstar, so it basically transforms him into a demigod. And then, in, Meta Nightmare Ultra, Meta Knight wishes to fight the strongest warrior in the galaxy. So when that happens, Galactonite gets unsealed, and Galactonite's the guy from before who, fought the the ancient, ancient motherfucker, you know, Void Termina, and, he defeats Galactonite. Galactonite gets resealed, whatever. Galactonite gets unsealed and resealed a couple times, and Galactonite, it's unclear his personality, but, to some level it's implied that he's just pissed off that he keeps getting unsealed just to fight people and he's tired of it, so, like, he's going on, like, destructive rampages and shit, and, like, there's really nothing they can do about it, besides reseal him again, you know? So yeah, and then with, Void Termina, not Void Termina, what the fuck am I talking about? With, Star Dream, Haltman, Max Profit Haltman, whatever the fuck his name is, but he wished initially to bring his daughter back, who died, or he assumes died, and the computer begins to corrupt his memories, and he doesn't realize that his daughter's been alive the entire time, and his daughter is, his secretary, Susie, and, eventually he dies, he gets, his conscience deleted by the computer, so there's nothing left of him. Then both Nova and Star Dream get destroyed, so, yeah, I guess, fuck on with that. I think there's more of those machines, but, like, there's yet to be seen any, remnant of them at any point, in current Kirby, but there might be in the future, you know, watch this become outdated in, like, a week or something stupid like that. Let's talk about Kirby for a second, because Kirby's kind of important. Kirby has unlimited power. Kirby is able to stop basically any threat that comes his way. But also, one, he's not even at his full potential yet because he's an infant. Two, he mostly does this out of the goodness of his heart, and also to some level because things get, like, relatively inconvenient to him. Like, for example, in Squeak Squad, he gets his cake stolen, and that leads to him going through this, like, domino effect of shit that happens, which leads to him fighting God, another God, there's multiple. It becomes a whole fucking thing, you know? But yeah, I didn't write this down, but the mirror universe is also somewhat important. The mirror universe basically is just like, it reflects the negative parts of people. So, what originally happens is Meta Knight, tries to break the mirror because Dark Meta Knight, who's a reflection of, like, him, so Dark Meta Knight looks basically almost like Meta Knight, except for the fact that he's a Dark Shadow clone, and also because, his personality is a little different. So, Meta Knight's very honorable, and he's very, you know, like, he's consistent for the most part. Whenever he duels Kirby, he offers a sword to Kirby, unless he's being possessed or something like that. And even in some situations, he manages to do it anyways, out of his code of honor or whatever. And Dark Meta Knight is basically the opposite, doesn't give a shit about honor. Pretty temperamental, yeah, basically definitely more of a villain than Meta Knight could ever be considered. And, he gets sucked into the mirror or whatever, and then Kirby gets sucked in as well, and then Kirby's Shadow clone, Shadow Kirby, comes out, and, Shadow Kirby is Kirby, basically has no, like, major negative flaws, except for the fact that maybe he doesn't want to get involved with stuff, which is why the mirror world's kind of a bit of a mess, is because he's afraid, I guess. In Kirby Fighters 2, he's described to be mischievous to some level, because, you know, he's a Shadow clone. Yeah, great content for me. But yeah, Kirby in general, I don't know where I was going with this, but Kirby has a wormhole in his stomach that leads, like, to an infinite pocket dimension. So anything he swallows will go straight there, and he can copy his abilities from there too. And that's kind of terrifying to some level. But Kirby is also implied to be one of the creations of Void Termina. Oh god, sorry. One of the creations of Void Termina. And possibly in the anime it's implied that he was created by Nightmare. I mean, it's a bit more vague now because the anime is not really canon. Yeah, it's weird. There's a lot going on there that's just, like, inconsistent. Let's talk about some of the stuff in the anime that could be considered still canon to some level. Especially stuff revolving Meta Knight's backstory, because we have not got anything regarding that besides, like, a couple random-ass things that happen. In the anime canon, there's a group called Star Warriors, and the Star Warriors, fight against Nightmare because Nightmare is shipping out monsters to destroy shit, you know? That's the entire prerogative of Nightmare Enterprise, make everyone's life worse. And, after the war, basically all of the Star Warriors get wiped out, except for Meta Knight, and Meta Knight basically travels the universe, to find and train the new generation of Star Warriors. And, he goes to, Dreamland because Dee Dee has the Nightmare, like, transport system, and he just likes to order monsters just to fuck with people. He doesn't really understand the consequences of it. And Meta Knight's like, oh, if a Star Warrior clocks this location, they're gonna be sent straight here. So I might as well stick around here, you know, whether or not I like it. And that's what he does. And Kirby ends up coming way too early than he's supposed to. He's not at his full potential. He's basically an infant. And, he still attempts to train Kirby so that they can together fight Nightmare. Whatever, yeah. But, there's a lot fucking going on there. Nightmare isn't really the main antagonist of the Kirby series. In fact, Nightmare is only an antagonist in, like, 1 or 2 games. So, arguably, there's a lot worse threats happening now in this universe. But, yeah, to some level, I probably explained a lot of this really poorly, or I've missed some stuff, but I don't care. This is all coming off the top of my head. This is all from memory. There's a lot that's happening in this shit. I could talk about this more, but I don't think you want to hear me talk about this more right now. But yeah, subscribe to my fucking YouTube channel, because I'm so swag, and I produce amazing content. Yeah.